Welcome back. You're watching Decision 2018, our live News 2 election night coverage. We're here with Senator Positive T.A. Nelson, Dr. Alexander Randall, and Siobhan Thomas, and we talked through a whole range of issues tonight. We're kind of just waiting for the final numbers, but we do have the campaign manager for Albert Bryan and Tregenza Roach waiting. He's on standby on St. Croix, so let's see if we can bring him in just to comment on this victory for this particular election. We're still heading into runoff. But let's hear from Brian Roach.
We're here at the Brian Roach campaign headquarters here in St. Croix. We're in Lorraine, and I have Mr. Carl Knight with me, who is the campaign manager. And we just heard that unofficial results, it hasn't been certified, but that the Brian Roach team is trailing with over 6,000 votes, correct? And so the camp is in a celebratory mood right now. And Mr. Knight, how are you feeling right now? It's been a long trail for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a long trail. We feel great. I mean, this has been a long work in progress. I mean, we started, in the primaries, went through the primaries, and it was a 3-month sprint to get to this point. And we kept pushing a message, and we're glad that it's resonating.
Well, we just heard, and we had an interview too with one of the senatorial candidates on St. Croix who was about millennial, and he's a millennial himself. And I guess I would say, not a surprise to his camp, but he's very young, and he trailed with over 3,000 votes. And so the message is that you also, as a team, wanted to make sure that millennials were involved this time around.
Oh yeah, that was a very important part of our strategy from the very beginning. Is we know that there has to be transformation in the Virgin Islands, and young people have to lead the way. Every major political movement is led by young people, and the time has come. So we really embrace the millennials in our campaign. Most of our videography, our ads were done by millennials, and Albert and Tregenza have really pushed to get young people involved. That's how they want to govern. They want to give young people an opportunity to push new ideas, push innovation, push technology. And so we know that most voters tend to skew towards the older demographic, but Albert really went after the younger voters and really pushed very hard for them.
And in saying that also, it's not over. As we said, the last time I left the electoral offices, the results haven't been certified yet. And so it seems like we're going into a runoff. So what is the plan to get everybody more amped up to vote more?
I mean, the strategy is the same. We think we have a message that's a real message that says, look, the Virgin Islands hasn't been on the right track for a long time. Not just this election, but we've been moving in the wrong direction for a long time. Federal dollars in hurricane recovery doesn't fix those underlying issues. Building a new hospital doesn't solve health care. Building a new school doesn't create better education outcomes. We need to really get to the core fundamental issues that we deal with as a community, and we got to start working on those. No more election gimmicks, no more politics as usual. We got to do something different. So we want to keep that message, take that message to the people. We got to keep pounding that ground game, talking to individuals, canvassing in their neighborhoods, getting them a chance to give input into the campaign. That's what got us this far, and that's what's going to get Albert and Tregenza in the government house.
Again, the results aren't certified, but say that the team did win. What is the first order of business if the team took office?
Well, Albert has always said that the first thing we need to do is get a true financial picture. I mean, during election years, there's a lot of gimmicks, there's a lot of checks in the mail, and a lot of pay raises doled out. And so you have to actually understand, where are we financially and what can we afford and not afford. That's the first step. And then you got to stabilize this government. He's talked about that. He said dealing with things like GRS is a high priority for him, and starting to get things stabilized as far as the finances and build confidence back in the government. People have to believe that the government can actually deliver the results that they expect from the government. And I think that'll be the first order of business for Albert and Tregenza.
So we understand that both team members are not on the island yet, correct?
They're en route. They should be landing shortly, and they should be here any minute now. So their campaign workers are waiting patiently for them. No one has worked harder than them. They've been on this campaign trail for quite some time. They worked really hard to earn the votes that they got this evening. And so they're on their way here. We want to do a big bet for them.
Mr. Knight, I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Back to you guys.
Shalana Brown on St. Croix with Carl Knight, the campaign manager for the Albert Bryan and Tregenza Roach team. Now we have, I believe we have some numbers here that just came up, and these are our new numbers. As of 9:49, and this is what I was told, the 9:49 results posted on the vivote.gov website, according to Kiever May Douglas at the St. Thomas Election System. She said these are the unofficial results for tonight, but this is it. So this reflects ballots cast, 24,731. That's the total number of ballots cast. The turnout is at 48.40.
48
Percent.
So apparently we didn't.
We did go under.
Yeah, we did go under what it was during the gubernatorial race in 2014, which was at 54%, which is kind of sad. So let's just
Well,
go through all of the
don't know how many
numbers
people we don't
from the
have.
top.
Well, true.
How many people left?
How many?
Right.
How
Well,
many
there is
voters
that to
voted?
consider as well. Let's
That's
take a
true.
look at the numbers. Delegate to Congress, Stacey Plaskett, of course, 15,298 votes. She's running unopposed. There are a few write-ins, 245. And then for the gubernatorial race, this is what we're looking at. Albert Bryan, as of 9:49, is at 8,961 votes. That's 37.45% of the total turnout. Governor Kenneth Mapp is at 8,188 votes, or 34.22% of the turnout. Adela Fonsi Donistor, 3,942, 16.47% of third place. That's really far behind here. Warren Mosler, 1,116. Soraya Diaz-Kofelt at number 5, 1,096. Mileto Smith, 376. And Jeanette Millen-Young, 223. So that's what we're looking at as we're headed into the runoff. Let's move down to the at-large race. Let's roll down the results here a little bit more. Shalimar? Roll down the results a little bit more so we can see the at-large race. Stephen Payne is still at the top with 7,778 votes. Sherry Ann Francis, right behind him, 6,005 votes. Angel Bolkes, 3,959 votes. So Stephen Payne, really, he has this race. St. Thomas and St. John senatorial race, Donna Fred Gregory at the top, 6,316 votes. Marvin Blyden right behind her, 5,798 votes. It seems that he overtook Bobby Thomas in the last count. Bobby Thomas is now number 3, 5,218 votes. Dwayne DeGraff, number 4, 4,997 votes. Stedman Hodge is now 4,979 votes, just a little bit behind Dwayne DeGraff there. And then Janelle Siro at number 6 at 4,753 votes. And then Senator Myron Jackson just barely hanging on there, 4,617.
It's funny, in all the years we've done
Votes.
this, Vargrave Richards has always said that the Senate president takes the blame for everything that goes wrong.
Right.
There it is.
And also, Leslie Commission said that some senators are reluctant to take the Senate presidency because it almost always means that they're going down in terms of rankings
But
for the
incumbent
next
Gene
election.
Ford is out.
Incumbent Gene Ford is out, yeah. Carly Joseph, who was in there, is now number 8. And Elma Francis Heiliger actually went up 4,221, number 9. So Senator Gene Ford is out of this race. And then let's head down to the St. Croix senators. Alicia Barnes, 7,310. Allison DeGazan, right behind her, 7,266. Kurt Vialet, number 3, 5,346. Wow, they're really far behind these two women. Javon James, 5,309 at number 4. Woohoo, Senator Nelson. Yep. Novelle Francis, 5,142 at number 5. Kenneth Gittens, 4,110. And then Oakland Benta at 4,001.
And a 1,500 gap into the next one.
Genevieve Whitaker, that a lot of people had high hopes for, is hanging, well, she's number 8, and it's a far distance from number 7. So that's what we're looking at for the senatorial race on St. Croix. Let's just go through the rest of these. Board of Education, St. Croix, Terrence Joseph and Winona Hendricks win that race. On St. Thomas, Judy Gomez and Jeanette Smith-Barry. On St. Croix's Board of Elections, everybody gets in, as we mentioned. And then Board of Elections on St. Thomas, Tanya Springett at 3,830 at the top, as well as Harriet Mercer right behind her, 3,639. And those are our numbers. As of 9:49 tonight, we're looking at a distance of, what is this, a little less than 700 between Governor Kenneth Mapp and the top vote getter as of today, who is Albert Bryan.
This is still 25
200
of
to
29?
700.
No, according to them, this is actually the total.
This is
Okay.
it.
Yeah, this is it. But we are still going into a runoff election. You know, nobody got 50% plus one. It's definitely going to be Governor Kenneth Mapp and Albert Bryan. And what do you guys think of this 700-something gap between Mapp and Bryan? Do you think this is going to change?
Well, I don't change on that. I guess the focus is the runoff, and that those numbers are going to be different, totally different come runoff.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be.
So are we meeting again on the 20th to do this again?
We'll think about it, right?
All right.
I do not have an answer for you. You're putting me on the spot.
Well, we'll be down. It's much simpler. There'll be two people.
Absolutely.
We don't have all of these candidates. I keep looking at the ones at the bottom. And while they're nice people and I like them, I really wish people at the very bottom would figure it out earlier and get out. All right, and it's the same thing in the senatorial races. We have people here who are getting 100 votes, 200 votes, that might be their friends, but they're not serious contenders. And we waste a lot of energy, we waste a lot of resources considering contenders who aren't.
I would disagree.
Go
I
ahead.
think that this is a democracy. Just
And
as you
everybody
have a
have the
right to
right.
vote, you have a right to run. And I think if someone wants to run and end up having 50 supporters, they have a right to, and I support that. But now we have a runoff, so
But we have, to
have
a
more
runoff.
fun.
Right, we have to have a runoff because
But it's hard to ask a team to concede. You know, they want to run to
Yeah,
the end.
absolutely.
And see, I think now that we're going to a runoff, some might go on and ask for the supporters to go one way or the other, and
-1.
minus one. He made that clear. Yes.
Okay. All right. So just a few notes, and after this, we're going to head to a close for our live election night coverage. But just a few notes before I let you guys have a little final farewell to our audience for tonight. One, the results for this are unofficial. We're waiting for mail-in ballots, and the ballot count for those are going to be happening in the next several days. And those are the same numbers that we mentioned earlier for the governor's race. We'll post updates on our News 2 Facebook page, so make sure you follow that page for election updates. We'll post this live coverage in a separate video because this live stream will not save on Facebook. So if you want to go back to the conversations that we had, you can take a look at our News 2 Facebook page. We will post a separate video there of this particular show. And also we'll have coverage of the general election on a News 2 Weekend Review on Friday, 7 p.m. and replays at 11 p.m. So those are our final notes to our viewers. Make sure you tune in. We're still counting ballots, mail-in ballots, although some people would say those would probably not make so much of a difference, but those are still votes that Virgin Islanders cast, that they're
Absolutely.
exercising the right to vote, and that's wonderful. Before we close, let me give you guys a chance to, well, first let me thank you for being here and for
Thank
such a
you.
lively discussion. I was not disappointed by this panel. When I looked at our lineup, I was like, this is promising to be a really interesting discussion, and it did prove to be that. So I thank you for being here. Senator Nelson, I'm going to give you.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here as a panelist. Like I told you, it was new for me, very different being on this side of things. I very much appreciate the discourse. And I look forward to other opportunities to do the same. And for people out there in election land, I know that it's not over. You have to go back out and vote in about 2 weeks, and it's important that you do vote. If you don't vote, you're pretty much not registering your voice as to what it is you want. And I encourage all to vote. And again, I thank you. And Virgin Islanders, after election is over, we have to get together for our own good.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for watching. I think of the elections as like the Nerd Olympics, so I truly enjoyed hanging with you all tonight. It was truly my privilege and honor. Virgin Islands, I love all of you. Thank you so much for everything you've given my daughter and I, including this opportunity.
Wonderful to have you on this show.
Thank you.
Dr. Randall.
We've done this a lot of times, April, and every time it's fascinating who our panelists are. I've enjoyed talking to both of you so much tonight and all the different ideas we've tossed around. I'm fascinated as I look at this election. We have a runoff coming up. We have, I think it's 5 incumbents returning to the legislature. That's 10 new faces going in. This is a change. This is a house cleaning. It's a reorganization. And we'll see when the governor contest ends whether just how extensive the house cleaning is. This is a transformational moment. We're seeing it in the continent. We're seeing it here. This is our home. We have to take care of it, and voting is one of the pieces of this. Getting behind our candidates, showing up, supporting them, and then asking them to serve us in the people of the Virgin Islands. Thank you very much for having me here tonight.
Thank you. And let me take this opportunity to thank our audience, the ones who are tuned in live right now, and the ones who were tuned in earlier in the show until the numbers started coming in and they kind of figured out what it was going to be, and they just started kind of drifting away. But thank you for tuning in and listening to the conversation. Thank you for the warm response to our panelists. And we want to remind you to please continue to watch the developments of this election. It's not over yet, although some people may say it is over. It is not yet over. We're going to have ballot counts in the next several days, and make sure you check the News 2 Facebook page for updates. We're going to have live coverage of this election in a News 2 Week in Review, and make sure you tune in to that. There were a lot of other videos that we weren't able to show in this show just because of how the conversation went. You guys were so interesting, we didn't get to the other videos. So we're going to show that on Facebook, so we still have a lot more in store for you guys. But again, thank you so much for watching, not just this show, not just the Decision 2018 live coverage, but also the Decision 2018 countdown, which was our 2-week coverage in the run-up to this election. Again, thank you so much for watching. You're watching Decision 2018, our live News 2 election night coverage.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.